Are we rolling? I take that to mean we're rolling. Hi everyone. It's fun to video here with you again. It's been a while, not since Father's Day. I don't think I've done it. But I just recently completed a new blog post. I've been posting again at Musings of an Artist's Wife for the Life and Legacy Foundation, and your response was great. It got me really excited, and it made me think you might be interested to hear about some of the things I was thinking about as I was working on that. Specifically, an early story, almost 9 years ago now, that I remembered as I was working on that and thought about the quotes and was thinking about George and this painting. This painting, George called it Hot Dog Halo, is the first painting that he ever did of me. It's from 1995. We were dating at the time. And those of you who study art history will recognize this sort of a format from the Renaissance style of religious paintings, specifically Madonna paintings in these triangles. So we have a Madonna type figure and the halo. Of course, I'm no Madonna type figure, so that's part of the joke. And the hot dog is no real halo, so that's part of the joke in George's hot dog halo. When he brought me the painting and gave it to me, obviously I asked him first thing, why is there a hot dog over my head? And he laughed and he said, because Wendy, you are one hot dog. Loved having this with me. So that brings me up to this little story that I wanted to share with you. It ended up being in my book, in the other side of the painting, which is really mine and George's book. He did all the design work on this, shared with you before. He also chose all of the paintings that went in it. It was published right about the time that he passed away. And for this particular little story that I was reminded of this week, he chose this painting. So that's why I asked Douglas, who is very kindly filming this for us, my husband Douglas, if he would mind bringing it out, setting it up for me. And I asked him if he would do it, please, here beneath the chamisa, because here in New Mexico, well, everywhere, fall is starting right about now, and the chamisa only blooms for this very rare time every year. I like it because it's a wild, crazy thing. It just kind of undulates and does its own thing. There's no taming it, and who would want to tame it? Isn't it fantastic? So here we are in the New Mexico sunshine, and this is Lucky Dog. Yesterday morning, oh well, I should back up one little thing too and tell you the setting for this. This takes place in Houston, Texas, the summer of 2012. George and I were there for 3 months. In the scene, I am at a cafe at Methodist Hospital getting his lunch, and when George is speaking, he's in the chemo chair. He received chemotherapy once a week on Mondays, and 5 days a week he had radiation. Talk a little about that too. And I also make a slight reference to Confederacy of Dunces, John Kennedy tools, so those of you familiar. Lucky Dog. Yesterday morning, I sat in the window of a Houston, Texas cafe, George's sandwich order in hand, awaiting the counter change from breakfast to lunch. And Ignatius J. Riley nearby spoke of high water and broken computers into what I first thought was a hand-free phone, but turned out to be air. "Damn that spilled coffee," he shouted, looking at me. I shrugged, seeing nothing. He repeated his creed until I nodded in agreement, handing him a napkin, which he tossed aside, grinding his teeth and abandoning his tray. Hot dogs, called the Ignatius in my head. Savories from the hygienic Paradise Kitchens. As if on cue, Yusuf Islam, also known as Cat Stevens, began singing "Don't Be Shy" over the speakers of the now empty restaurant, sending me again into a helpless emotional state. Adding to this surreal scene is our current situation. Too private to share in detail, but real. The source of speculation and concern, the surprising job training, as my friend calls it, and the catalyst of a bigger life's picture. Family. legacy, and love. "Let me tell you how you are," started George, after I shared my cafe encounter. I laughed, and I grabbed my notebook at this unexpected sign of normalcy. "What?" he questioned, a bit too loud. "I can tell he's feeling better because he's telling me how I am," I wrote, before tuning out at feigned attention for the familiar analysis, my husband's hands chopping the air as he dissects, always for my benefit, my personality. "George," begged my sentimental mood, "tell me what you love. Shout it out." "What do I love?" he said quietly, and for him almost shyly. "Yes, what do you love? Don't get philosophical on me. Just say it fast, all in a row." "I love blue dogs. I love LSU football. I love modern medicine. And more than anything in the whole world, I love to paint." And in one word, George, how do you feel right now? Lucky. Make that damn lucky. "Have you ever painted a lucky dog vendor?" I continued, knowing his love of hot dogs. "No, you giving me that idea? It's yours. I'll make him a blue dog vendor and have him sell paintings from his cart," George laughed, pulling out his sketchbook. George and I meet daily this summer with a man whose military reserve unit returned recently from the deserts of Afghanistan by way of the jungles of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. He serves, protects, and saves lives from one country to the next, including his skillful operation of the tomotherapy radiation machine that brought us together in Houston, a machine that is coincidentally nicknamed High Art. "I've never met anyone like George," he said last week, explaining the joy and interest of their visits, especially George's stories and philanthropy, both as appealing as his artwork. I listened, touched, to this American hero, and I made notes for this story. Another chapter in the life of one lucky dog. "And in one word, how do you feel?" asked George after reading my draft. "That's easy," I said. "Grateful." Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you on the road. Tour starts soon. Check legacyarttour.org for the schedule, and have a beautiful fall. Enjoy life.